Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering Rogue Sun. Now, it made its very first appearance in Supermassive, which was a crossover one-shot event that was released in February of 2022. The Rogue Sun itself is a mantle, and it's been carried by multiple individuals over thousands of years. However, the one we're introduced to is the most recent, which is Siegel, who inherited it from his father, Marcus Bell. And this was a very big inheritance. When using a mysterious gem known as the Sunstone, its wielder can call forth the Rogue Sun, which grants its wielder amazing powers, including at least high-level moderate superhuman strength and moderate durability, not to mention flight at high moderate superhuman speed. However, its trademark power is being able to control a supernaturally powerful fire, being able to generate and control it at will to produce a myriad of different effects, including his most powerful attack that we know of so far, which is known as the Black Fire. But it also has to be noted that although all of the Rogue Suns seem to have had at least the same base powers, it is speculated that many of them have developed different abilities as they grow in their learning of their powers. So what we see from Dylan so far is just the beginning. The only glaring weakness that I see in Dylan so far is his inexperience with the Rogue Sun armor, as well as his own personal immaturity. Hopefully he'll grow out of both of these. Now, when Dylan is in his unpowered form, he's just a teenage boy who's relatively tall for his age and has a slim build, as well as having relatively long red hair and hazel eyes. And from the very beginning of this series, we see it following him as he inherits the powers and mantle of Rogue Sun from his estranged father Marcus, after we see his father being murdered by a mysterious powered figure. Unknown to Dylan at this time, Marcus was the protector of the world and New Orleans' greatest hero, but he also had a checkered past and a complicated family life. You see, Marcus had abandoned Dylan and his mother Gwen when Dylan was a baby, and he had remarried to another woman named Juliet, with whom he had 2 more children, Ori and Brock. But the family wasn't new to issues, because Marcus also had a history of abuse from his own father, who was also a Rogue Sun in the past. We'd see Dylan and his mother Gwen meet Marcus's new family at the reading of his will, where Dylan learns that he is the sole heir of his father's most prized possession, the Sunstone, which is revealed to the shock of his 2 younger children. Dylan himself is also shocked and angry, as he grew up hating his father for leaving them and never wanting anything to do with him. However, he also feels somewhat curious and a responsibility to learn more about his father and his powers. So despite the rumblings of his mother, he decides to take up the role of Rogue Sun with the help of Juliet, Ari, Brock, and Marcus's old friend and mentor, Dottie. From here, we see Dylan go on to try to balance his new life as a superhero and a high school student, as he also faces a series of challenges and new enemies. Not only does he have to deal with an assortment of his father's old enemies, like an emotional vampire, witch doctor, vampiric werewolf, sea monster, and time-controlling demon, he also has to deal with the mystery of his father's murder, which, spoiler alert, ironically turns out to be orchestrated by his own mother Gwen, who was driven by a resentment and fear of Marcus's influence on their son Dylan later in his life. She had made a deal with a group of rogue agents and a mysterious, powerful benefactor to gain the power that she needed to take Marcus out. She unwittingly unleashed a powerful evil named Mourningstar, who is an ancient demon who is the source of all supernatural powers and creatures in this universe. Mourningstar has his own plans to destroy the world and create a new one in his image. But to do this, he needs the Sunstone, the artifact that grants the Rogue Suns their powers. Eventually, Dylan also has to face his own mistakes and their consequences, as he accidentally creates his own nemesis, Hellbent, which was a young man named Hunter who gained significant powers after Dylan injures his father, who happened to be one of the supervillain Suave's henchmen. Hunter blames Dylan for his father's condition and vows to kill him and his family. So we can see that Dylan, similar to his father Marcus, inadvertently created one of his own powerful enemies. And as we delve deeper into Dylan as a character, we see that he also has to deal with his own inner demons, such as his anger, guilt, and fear, as well as his conflicted feelings towards his father, who repeatedly appears to him as a spirit, bound to the Sunstone. And as we learn later, all the previous Rogue Sons are also still linked to the stone as well, for better or for worse. Now, Dylan's journey as Rogue Son is not only a superhero adventure, but it also turns out to be a family drama and a coming-of-age story. He has to learn how to accept his father's flaws and virtues, to forgive his mother's actions, to bond with his new siblings, and to find his own identity and purpose. Not to mention also having to face the ultimate challenge of saving the world from Mourningstar, ideally with the help of his allies and friends, which could include other superheroes from the Massive-verse, such as Radiant Black and Inferno Girl Red. We'd eventually even see him going so far as teaming up and having two consciousnesses in one Rogue Son armor as a white Rogue Son instead of the traditional black. This was a nice temporary power-up in his struggle against the villains. And you know, it's interesting that Dylan seems to be a mix between the hot-headedness of Johnny Storm from Marvel Comics as well as the Black Knight. But anyway, I digress. So far as we know, this comic book series explores the themes of legacy, family, responsibility, and redemption through the lens of a supernatural murder mystery. And I'm here for it. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Image Comics, in particular Supermassive universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give the Rogue Son Dylan a rating of 9, which is an epic rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.